This conference will now be recorded.
All right. So it's 8 a.m. Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Thank you guys. This is a session one of 21 days of AWS using Terraform. And so far, in last 3 weeks, I was discussing about Docker. So this is a complete fulcrum shift. And thank you guys for joining this session. But before proceeding further, is I'm audible to everyone? Can somebody please confirm in the chat?
Yes, Prashant.
Okay, thank you. So just some housekeeping tasks before we proceed further. Uh, during this entire presentation, I am the only one who is speaking and you guys are on the listen only mode. But in case if you have any question, you can ask by the chat window or by the Slack channel. Okay, so just little bit about me. My name is Prashant and I've been in this IT field for close to 15 years now. I do not have much experience with Terraform. I am using Terraform from last 1.5 years. But during this period, I have wrote more than like a 5,000 line of code. So I have some experience, and I already shared with you guys my this open source version of my Terraform repo. So I almost wrote code on all the important AWS application. So whenever you guys have a time, just check this code. Uh, the way this session is going to work is like for the first 30 minutes, I'm just going to talk about some Terraform theory because this is the introductory session. And in each and every session proceeding further, first we are going to talk about the theory behind the application or resource which we are going to create. I'm going to show you how we can create that resource via the UI, that is the AWS console. And later on, we are going to code the whole thing using Terraform. So in the first session, we are not going to follow all of the industry best practice because this is just a introductory session. But going forward, we are trying to create a module out of the Terraform so that you can make it a reusable code. Okay. So without wasting any time, let's start with this introduction to Terraform session. So this session is a result of this blog which I published today morning, and I'm going to follow this blog throughout this session. So before going further, the first question which we need to ask to ourselves, what is exactly is Terraform? And there are so many definitions which is available, but let me start with my own version of the Terraform definition. So let's start it here. So what exactly is a Terraform? So in the simplest sense, if you need to create a EC2 instance, like a virtual server in AWS, and I'm going to take AWS as an example because this is a AWS session using Terraform. So let's say I need to create one server in AWS or an instance in AWS. What exactly you guys are going to do? You go to the AWS console, log into it, and then try to create it. But what would be the case if you need to create a 5 server? Okay, that is pretty simple. You are again going to log into the AWS console, and in the count value, you are going to put 5. Okay, so let me show you. Anyone who is not aware of AWS console, like I'm just going to go to the EC2. Okay, click on launch instance. For the time being, let's pick any AMI. We are going to talk about AMI later. Configure, and here rather than creating a one instance, I can put 2, 5, 10, whatever number of instances I want to create. Okay. The problem with this approach is that, for example, you are working in a team of like 10 people or 5 people. It is difficult to track who create that resource. Okay. So let's say somebody of your team member A, he created one instance and the other team member created like some other instance. So you don't know who created this instance. So it's difficult to track whatever resources is being created by your team member. Okay. So Terraform help us to track all those resources with the help of something called a TF state file, which we are going to see in today's session. First advantage of Terraform. Now, this is just one example where you are trying to create a EC2 instance. Let's say you need to create a full stack. So for example, you need to create an application load balancer in front of your web instance. Then you have your instance, which is a web or any kind of instance. Then let's say DB. So just a simple example, if you need to create a full stack. So in that case, you need to go manually to each and every layer. And for example, for DB, you go to the RDS and create a MySQL database. Then you go to the EC2 layer, you need to create that instance. And then you need to go to the load balancer and need to create your application load balancer. So all these tasks will be manual. So rather than doing all these tasks manually, we have a one Terraform script, which is going to spun all these application or an instance for us. So that is the second advantage of Terraform. The third advantage is you can use Terraform for any of the cloud provider. So Terraform right now support like you will see like all these providers, not even like your cloud providers, GitHub, GitLab, they're all being supported by Terraform. So which means using the Terraform, you can create your GitHub repo or a GitLab repo. Okay. So all these, I mean, the one which I have used except for the cloud providers is Jenkins. So you might see Jenkins somewhere, or I don't know, where is that? Or DigitalOcean, DNS, all these are supported by Terraform. Okay. Not sorry Jenkins, but GitHub. Okay. So Terraform is useful in that case also. So the bottom line is, if you need to create a multiple instance or a multiple stack, and at the same time you want to track it, how you are like who created those instances, if you need to create a complete stack, and if you have a multiple providers, in those cases Terraform will be helpful. Okay, so let's move further. Installing Terraform. The installation of Terraform is pretty straightforward. You just need to download this binary like this.
Prashant,
Mhm.
we are unable to see your screen.
Is anyone else have this problem?
No, I can see it.
No, I can also
Can
see
you
it. No problem.
just log out and log in?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so installation of Terraform is pretty straightforward. You just need to download this Terraform binary from Terraform website like this. Once the binary is downloaded, you just need to unzip it. It's just going to give you a one single binary. Sorry guys, I need to put everyone on mute. And if you guys have any question, can you ask via that Slack channel or via the chat window? So this is going to provide you this binary. And once you have this binary, you just need to copy it in your path. For example, user local bin. You can copy this binary here. You need to resource your environment. So for example, su hyphen whatever the username. And once you have that, you can verify that your Terraform is installed. So just a simple procedure. Download it, unzip it, and copy into your path. With path, I mean your system path. You can copy this binary to any of these paths. So I prefer to use user local bin, and then you can verify it that your Terraform 0.12.13 is installed properly. So just a note to all the experienced Terraform users or developers that this is a new version of Terraform, that is a 0.12, and before that I heavily used 0.1 and 0.11. Honestly, I don't have any idea why they called it 0.12, because this is a completely different version as compared to the earlier version. Terraform team rewrote the SCI, which is a HashiCorp configuration interface, or SCI or SCL, HashiCorp configuration language, and there are a lot of difference between Terraform 0.11 and 0.12. So your script which works in 0.11 might not work in 0.12, or you might need to make some tweak. So just a note, but for this entire sessions, I'm going to use 0.12 because it provides some features like looping mechanism that we are going to discuss it later. But just to keep a note of this. Okay. So now our installation part is done. Okay. Now the second thing is you need to export some of the variables. These two. So why we need to export these variables? Okay. Anyone who is familiar with AWS, you will know about this access key as well as secret access key. So in case of a Terraform, the script which we wrote is ended with something called .tf file, and it's mainly its main.tf. Okay. So what exactly Terraform does is Terraform is the binary which we have copied in user local bin is going to read that script, convert into API calls, and to pass this API call to your cloud provider, let's say AWS, it need to interact with AWS. And how it's going to interact with AWS is with the help of keys. Okay, let me tell you this thing in different way. So basically, whenever you want to log into your AWS console like this, if you have this AWS console, the way you log into the AWS console is like you go to sign in, and then you pass your username and password, and then you logged into the AWS console, right? So similar way, if your Terraform need to communicate to the AWS server, it needed these keys. Okay, so for all also, or if you want to communicate, or if you want to have any interaction with AWS, you need this key. If you are if you guys are aware of AWS SDK or any kind of a AWS API, then you know that you always need to export this key. Okay, so our first step is to export this key, and in that way Terraform is going to interact with our AWS environment. I will show you how to create those key. So if you go here, go to IAM under the user section, create a user. For example, I will say my test user, and I just want to give it a programmatic access because I don't want this user to be logged into the AWS console. Next, permission. Here you can attach a policy. So just for this demo, I'm attaching admin policy, but this is highly unrecommended for production environment. You just need to give your user a minimum privilege. I'm skipping a tag section. Next, review and create. So whenever you create a user, you will get this access key as well as secret access key. Okay, and these keys you need to export to your environment. Okay, I don't want anyone to hack my environment, so I'm just going to delete this user, and I already exported this key. The other way you can export a key is using the AWS configure command. So when you run this AWS configure command, it is going to ask you this access key, secret access key, the region name, and the output format. Okay, so this is other way you can do it, but I mean for this session you can do it like this, like just export the key using this export variable. Okay, I already gave you some idea about it. So Terraform is basically Terraform, the company, they wrote their own language called SCL, which is called a HashiCorp configuration language. And the way the Terraform works, I already told you guys, like it's going to read this main.tf file or any file which ends with .tf extension. It converts it into an API call, and with the help of a key, it is going to interact with your AWS environment. Okay, so basically it's a kind of a declarative language. Like you need to define what is your end infrastructure, and Terraform will figure it out how to create that infrastructure for you. Okay. So I guess that's enough of theory. Let's work on the practical side, how we are going to create our first resource using Terraform. But before that, like I told you guys, our first aim is to create that resource via the AWS console, and then we will see how we can automate it with the help of Terraform. So let's go to the AWS console. Okay, I will start from scratch. So here my requirement is I need to create one EC2 instance. Okay, so I will go to the AWS, click on EC2, and click on launch instance. And the first thing I need to do is to select an AMI. Okay, so what exactly is an AMI, or Amazon Machine Image? So think of Amazon Machine Image as like an ISO image. So whenever you need to build your Windows instance or a Windows machine or a Linux machine, you need an ISO image. Okay, so similar to that, in case of our AWS world, that is called AMI, Amazon Machine Image. So here we are going to create some from CentOS AMI. CentOS is not available by default in this console, so you need to search it, and it is available on AWS Marketplace like this. Okay, so somehow I always have a problem in trying to find out the AMI of this CentOS image. So I will tell you guys what are the different ways we can find the AMI ID of that image. So let's take a note of all these points. So first thing which we need to create our instance is the AMI. The second thing, like when you click next on that console, so we are here, we need an instance type. We need an instance type. So just take a note of all these points, because this is we are going to put in our Terraform code, and we are going to automate this entire process, which we are doing it manually via the AWS console. So second thing is the instance type. So instance type defines the families of instance. So for example, this T2 micro gives us 1 CPU and 1 GB of memory. If you go with the T2 small, it will give us 1 CPU and 2 GB of memory. So depending upon your application requirement, you are going to choose the instance type. But remember that the higher the instance family, the more the price you need to pay to AWS. Okay, so for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to use T2.micro, which provide me 1 CPU and 1 GB of memory, and it's eligible under the free tier. So let's take a note of that, T2.micro. Okay. The next thing is the configure instance details. So like I told you guys, here we can specify how many number of AWS instance we want to boot. So I can put 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the value I want to do it. The second, let's not worry about all these options. We are going to discuss all these options in day 2 and day 3. The second is the VPC, that we are going to build it from scratch on day 2. So for the purpose of this first session, Introduction to Terraform, we are just going to choose the default VPC, as well as in the day 3, I'm going to talk about all the EC2 options. So for today, just not worried about all these things. For example, this user data, the script which we can pass when we're going to boot our EC2 instance. So think of it, we are going to choose all the default option in this case. Add storage. Let's not worry about storage at this point of time. We are just going to think that we are going to use a default storage of EBS of 8 GB with general purpose SSD. So for third and fourth, we are just going to choose a default option. Next is tag. Tag is really important. It's an optional value, but it's going to specify, for example, in long term, it is going to help you to find it out what this instance is doing. So for example, I will put web server prod. Same way, if I'm going to boot one more instance, I can put this web server as dev, so that I can distinguish it out what the purpose of this server. It's just going to increase the verbosity for your instance. Okay. So next thing, so I said for VPC and all, I'm just going to put all the default value. For storage, I'm just going to put default value. For tags, we are going to assign a tag to our instance. So this part we need to take care. Next part is the security group. Security group. So for this point of time, you can think of security group as a firewall. So you need to allow a port in your instance. So for that purpose, security groups comes handy. Okay. So by default, AWS deny all the traffic, either it's inbound or outbound. So that's why you need to allow, for example, in this case, I'm allowing 22 port in my firewall. Think of it like this. Okay. So I need to add a security group. Finally, review and launch. So I will see what exactly I'm doing it here and going to launch. So to interact with this instance, I need a key pair. Okay. So like I showed you guys earlier, if you want to log into the AWS console, you need a username and a password. Same way, in case of AWS, if you need to log into the instance, you need a key pair, which is just a public and a private. You need a public and a private. You need a private key to log into this instance. Hey guys, sorry, I need to put everyone on mute. Yeah, we are using the Linux OS, like for example, CentOS in this case, or it's completely up to you, whichever OS you want to use. Okay, and I will show you how we can generate our own key pair and assign it to the Terraform code. Okay, so this part is clear. To build an instance via UI, we need all these things. So same thing we are going to replicate in case of our Terraform code. Okay, so let's go here and let's write our first Terraform code. So I am going to name this file as main.tf. Okay, let's remove this one. Okay, for the next 5 days, I'm going to use this JetBrains PyCharm as an editor, and this the advantage of using this editor that it has comes with or you need to install a plugin for this Terraform. And for example, let me show you. So it is going to autofill all these value for you. So far I have used this editor, this PyCharm, and it's really helpful. And if you want, if you go here, I think here in settings, and where is that, plugins, and if you can search for this Terraform, this is the one, HashiCorp Terraform SCL language support. Okay, so as far as I am concerned, I like this editor. Okay, so let's go back to this. So we come up with all these things, and now we need to replicate this in our code. Okay, so first thing, I will start with a key pair. The key pair is used to log into our EC2 instance once it is up and running. Okay, and in Terraform world, there are two things. One is called resource, and second one is called providers. And these two are really critical. So resource is all these resources. So for example, for Terraform, key pair is a resource, or security group is a resource, or a tag is a resource. So we need to create all these things, for example, key pair and security group individually here, that I'm going to show you right now. Provider is any kind of a provider. For example, in this case, our provider is AWS, or it can be GCP, or it can be Azure. Okay. So let's start with a resource. So first resource we are going to create is called key pair. And for that, the main idea for this presentation is not to tell you guys to memorize a bunch of Terraform code. The main idea is we are going to use Google as much as possible, take the help of this editor, and going to autofill all these values. So for example, if I need to create a key pair, I always start with AWS and then press this key, for example, K, and it will autofill some of these values for me. Okay. So what I'm going to do, for example, I need to create AWS key pair Terraform. I always do this Google search, click on this first one, okay, and see, I already have this example. So I just copy paste this example here. Okay, and start filling these values. Okay, so first one is our resource. Like I told you, for Terraform, all these things are a resource. So first is a resource, and second one is a variable, which we are going to reference throughout our code. Okay, so if you go down, I showed you here also with the help of example. This is the resource, okay, and this is actually a variable or an identifier which we are going to reference throughout our code. I'm going to show you this later how we are going to reference it. Okay, so for the time being, think of it like a identifier or a variable. So let's say I put it as an example. Now, when we are creating that key, I need to give it some name. So I will say my example key. You can give it any name. Here, you need to specify the public part of that key. Delete. One second. Okay. So this is the first session, and just for the purpose of a demo, I'm putting the public key. But as you guys are aware of that, this is highly unrecommended. Later on, I will show you how we are going to use the file resource to reference a file rather than the copy pasting the public key in our Terraform code. Okay. So I am going to generate this key here, and I don't want to override my existing key, so I'm going to do it like this. Okay. So now I have that public key created. Okay. And I'm going to put that key in my code. So what exactly I'm doing it here, I'm creating a key resource or a key pair with the value of with the variable name as example. I gave the key a name, and then I specify the public key here, which I have created using a sh keygen command. I guess you guys are aware of how to create a key. Okay. Any doubts so far? I'm just going to wait for 30 seconds for you guys. If you have any question, you can ask it via the chat. I'm going to mute myself for 30 seconds. Deep question. So that key is from the machine where Terraform is installed? No. So this is the place from where you want to access that server. You can copy that key to any machine from where you want to access that server. So you can generate the key in that machine itself, or you can create the key in any of the other machine. So basically what we did in our environment is like we create a key in one machine, which is mainly a Bastion host, and then distribute the key to other machines also. Okay, or we use that Bastion host to log into our AWS server. Second is, does Terraform work inside the AWS environment? Yes, it will work. can't we use IAM role to keep it secure? Yes. So this is just an introductory session. So that's why I'm telling you guys the basic minimal ways how to interact with the Terraform. Later on, I can show you, or I already have a bunch of docs which I can show you how we can interact using IAM. Yeah, and Elango, after this, I'm going to share the recording of the session. I mean, we can always do that, but that is not recommended. The better way to do that is via the use of IAM role. Via a username and a password, I don't think so. It's possible. Yeah, so that's why. What if I don't have a EC2 instance at all and creating instance for the first time? So if you can check here, I'm creating it from my desktop or a laptop. I'm not creating it from the EC2 instance. So the main idea is you only need to have a Terraform binary installed, and then you can export those variables. These two. Where is that? These two. And you can create it from any machine. You can even create a EC2 instance, EC2 Linux instance from a Windows host. Okay. Does that answer your question, S? Yeah, man, sure. I will add you after this session. Okay. So far, if you have any question, please ask me, man. These are really good questions. So first thing is, like, we created the AWS key pair. The next thing is, let's create the security group. And once again, for creating a security group, you don't need to memorize anything. Just go back here, AWS security group, Terraform. Okay. I always copy paste this code. Okay. So once again, I'm going to give this as some name. So let's say I am giving it example SG, example security group, which is act as a variable. I will show you how we are going to use this. And let's give some other meaningful name like example KP. You can give it any name. Okay. Name is allowed TLS. Here I will say once more time my example SG. Description, it's completely optional, but you can give it any description. So here I will say allow SSH traffic because this is what I'm going to do. Like I told you guys earlier, VPC ID, we are not going to worry about the VPC ID in this session, but in later, I think in the second day, I'm going to show you how to build your VPC from scratch using Terraform. Okay. Now there are two kind of us. Sorry. So there are two ways you can allow a port in case of security group. So there is something called ingress and something called egress. I mean, the name itself is self-explanatory. So for example, you build an instance, okay, and you want to allow a port 22. So there are two ways. One is the ingress and second one is the egress way. So ingress means inbound. You are allowing someone from outside to enter into your instance. That's why it's inbound. But from your instance, if you want to go outside, with there you can allow port 22. Does that make any sense? So ingress means if somebody wants to hit your instance, but from your instance, if you want to hit some other servers, so let's say you build some instance 2, and if this egress is not allowed, egress here, you cannot SSH from that instance to the other instance. Okay, and just a note for this, for the people who are using Terraform for the first time, by default, in case if you are using a AWS console and you create a security group, let's say you allowed 22 port 22 on the ingress side. By default from the UI, the egress is all allowed, all the port from 0 to 65536. But in case of Terraform, you must need to explicitly specify this block. Terraform by default does not allow any port. So in case of our egress rule, it's deny in case of Terraform. But if you are going to do it via the UI, by default, it's allowed. So let me show you. So if you go here, let's cancel this. Okay, EC2 security group. Let me create a security group. So I will say my demo SG, and let me. Okay, I think this does not make it. Okay, let me show you inbound and outbound. So inbound is this. So I'm specifying a port 22. I can specify a custom source or from anywhere. So let's say I'm allowing this to anywhere. The first one is the IPv4 range, and the second one is the IPv6 range. So this way I'm allowing anyone to come to my instance, like anyone to access to my instance. And the same way I can specify the outbound rule. So like I told you guys earlier, when you create explicitly specify ingress as well as the egress. Okay. So let's specify ingress here. So in case of ingress, I want to allow port 22 from and to port. Protocol is TCP. And for the purpose of this demo, I'm allowing everything. So the syntax for that is 0.0.0.0/0. Okay. And egress, for the time being, I'm allowing everything the same. So allowing all the ports from port to port. If you specify -1, that means all the protocol, your TCP, UDP, ICMP, and the CIDR block 0.0 specify means everything. But like you can cache this from here itself. This is not recommended in production environment. You might going to specify your company's subnet range. For example, you only want to allow it from 192.68.0.0/24 or some other ranges. Okay. So far we have created the key pair, the security group, and now it's the time to create all the other resources like AMI. This is defined by AWS. This is defined by AWS itself. Then VPC storage, we are going to choose a default value, and then we need to assign the tag. So I'm again going to wait for 30 seconds if you guys have any question regarding the AWS security. Okay, let's go step by step. How does Terraform differ from CloudFormation? So Srini, like CloudFormation is specific to AWS because it's an AWS product. While the Terraform, you can use it with any cloud provider. It can use with GCP, it can use with Azure, or like I showed you earlier, there are like 60 plus provider which is supported by Terraform. It's completely an open source community driven project. So I think that answers your question. Prashant, I already explained between the ingress and egress. Are there the steps in Terraform script to replace the configuration from web? I mean that you have already enabled port 22. Are you showing how the same can be done with Terraform? So I am not aware of that, but like because this guy Shrini asked about the cloud formation, I know cloud formation has something called cloud former. Yeah, this one cloud former, but it's still in beta. So whatever you have created via the UI from the AWS console, you can create a cloud formation script using this cloud former. But honestly, for this Terraform, I am not aware of anything you can do it via the UI. Like whatever you have done via UI, you can convert it into a Terraform script. There are some solution I already tried in the past, but those are not stable as far as I know. The class only for Sunday. Yeah, Kanan, this is only on Saturday and Sunday. Mark, can you hear me, or is anyone else facing the issue? Yes, it's a 1 hour session. Yes, Amit, that's a really valid point. In AWS, if you are going to put any traffic like ingress, they are not going to charge you, but all the egress traffic will be charged. So this is how AWS is making money. Louis, yeah, I will add you later. Is there any other question? But Ilango, I will try to find it out. Is there any way to convert this UI to Terraform? But I tried that in the past and it doesn't work fully. Even there are some modules to convert the CloudFormation script to Terraform, but those has like lot of bugs. There's no official, or there's no paid, or the commercial solution which is available right now at this stage, as far as I know. But if you guys are aware of any solution, please let me know. I want to explore that solution. But if anyone has time, just try to find it out this CloudFormer. And if you guys are doing something on the CloudFormation side, you can convert all those scripts to the CloudFormation. Means if you are doing something on the UI and you want to convert those script into a CloudFormation script, you can do it with the help of this CloudFormer. I can ping you here. I can even ping you guys on the Slack channel. Here, this CloudFormer. Okay, if there is no other question, let's move further. So we have created the key pair so far. We have created the security group. Let's try to create other resources. And to create other resources, we need to use one more resource, AWS instance Terraform. Okay, and the resource for that is called AWS_instance. This one. This is, I think, is a data resource. So we are not worried about data resource. I'm going to talk more about the data resource in the later section. So this is data. This is the one which we are looking here at this stage. Okay, or I can copy paste this code. This one. Okay. So once again, I'm trying to create, this time I'm trying to create instance, the actual virtual machine in AWS. I can refer it with any name. Okay, this is a variable or an identifier. We are going to see how we are going to refer these identifier here. Okay, AMI ID. Like I showed you guys, when we try to create this instance from UI, this one, if you look at all these AMI, the way you can refer these AMI with the help of the AMI ID, this one, this value, or this value. Okay, but in this case, we are creating a CentOS instance. But when you choose the CentOS AMI here, means as far as I know, I don't see a good method to find out the AMI ID value. Okay, so I have one simple script to find out that value. This is the one. So let me execute it. So this give me this AMI ID value. I'm going to choose the latest one, and I think that has already been there in the code, C96. Yep. So I can give you guys this value in chat also, as well as in the this GoToMeeting chat. Okay. So now I have got the AMI ID. That is the ISO image from where I'm going to boot my EC2 instance. The instance type we already discussed about it, that we are going to choose the t2.micro. Okay. Now this is the tricky part. Like I told you guys, we are just going to use the default value. And here we have created this security group, right? So how we are going to refer this security group in our code? And the way this works is something called interpolation. So the way interpolation works is like I need to give a resource name, which is then this reference value or this variable, which is example, and last one is the ID field. Okay, so what is this ID field? So if you go here, so all these resource, if you scroll down at the bottom, they have some attribute reference. Okay, so what are these attribute reference? So like I showed you guys, all these AMI, these ones, okay, I think you can refer these AMI with the help of this AMI ID. So same way, you can refer any of the security group with the help of its ID. So if you go to any of these security group, you can see that this group has a ID, this security group ID. This security group has this ID, SG-FE, whatever with the value. So same way, what we are trying to do, that once this block of code is going to create a security group for us, refer that security group with its ID. Okay. Same way for the key pair, what we are trying to do, we specify the resource name here, we specify the variable value here, and the ID. Once again, we are trying to get the ID from this part of the code. And if you go here, you will see for even for key pair, key pair has this argument reference. That is the key name. I think it's key name. Okay, I don't know why I'm not seeing that, but you can refer that with the help of the ID also. AWS key pair. This one. Okay, so actually I'm doing something wrong here. You need to refer it with the help of key underscore name. Okay. And then finally a tag. Tag, I told you guys, like it's just going to increase the verbosity to your code. So this is important. This is one thing which many of the people who was trying Terraform for the first time is that you need to how you are going to reference the other resource which you have created earlier in your code. So this is basically called interpolation. Okay, so you need to define the resource name, then the variable name, and then whatever the resource you want to refer it here. Like for example, this is going to create a key pair, and I'm just referring that key pair ID over here. Same way, key name. I think there's some issue. Let's stick with the ID. I will try to debug this one later. Okay. Now the final thing which left in this code. So we have created the key pair, we have created a security group, we have created the instance, is like where we want to create this resource. And for that, like I told you, Terraform is all about resources and provider. So here I want to create this resource in AWS, and I need to specify a region. So for example, in this case, I'm using US West -2 to create this resource. Okay. So once we have this code, we only have 11 minutes left, but I still want to wait for 30 seconds for you guys to, if you have any question regarding this code. So this is key pair security group, and now we have the instance code ready. Later on, I will show you how we can increase the number of, for example, there's something called count. So here in this case, if I want to create a 5 EC2 instance, I just need to specify this count equal to 5. But for this introductory session, I'm just going to create one resource. By default, count equal to 1. Oh yes, sorry. Thank you guys. Yep. Example KP. Yep. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. So I changed the name of that variable, and I am referencing it with a different name. Yep. Thank you. How can we categorize resource groups? Sorry, I did not understand your question. If you can rephrase it, Gurudev. Okay. Sorry guys, we only have 10 minutes left. So this is our Terraform file, main.tf. Now the first thing you need to do is run a command terraform -help, and you will see all the options which is provided by the Terraform. So let's try to use all these options one by one. So first argument or the command that I'm going to use with Terraform is called Terraform FMT, which is a format. So basically it's going to rewrite your file and it's going to properly apply the formatting to your Terraform file. So if you can see here, this is not properly formatted. So let me run Terraform format, and I always run with --help. Okay. And I'm going to use an option called -diff. So I will see what are the changes that Terraform is going to making to my file. So you will see here that it's just formatted it properly. So earlier you see that there's not a proper white space between this from port to equal to 0. Now we have a proper spacing between these lines. So formatting is just going to format your code. And in my company, I cannot push my PR to GitHub till I am going to format this code. So in my company, it's mandatory to format the code before pushing the code to GitHub. Means GitHub is going to reject my request. So that is some policy, means different companies have a different policy. My company enforces policy that always we need to format our code before pushing it to the GitHub or our internal repo. The second command I'm going to run is called terraform init, which is just going to initialize my code. So what this is doing, if you go here, okay, so we run this terraform format command to format my code. And the second step is I'm running something called terraform init. So if you check at the top of my code, I specify a provider called AWS. Okay, so depending upon the provider, it is going to download the code for that particular provider. So I showed you here, I showed you somewhere here that this Terraform need to interact with the AWS, right? By reading this main.tf file. So how it's going to interact with the AWS? With the help of a keys. And it is going to convert all this Terraform code into a form of API call. And for that, it needs some part of the module here. So if you see, it's downloaded, not module, but the bunch of plugins it downloaded for that particular provider. If here you are using provider as a GCP, I think it's Google, it will download all the plugin based on that particular provider, which in that case it's AWS, but if you're using a Google core, you can specify the provider as Google. Okay, so this is the first command you need to execute. You don't need to repeat this command again and again. This is just the first time when you are executing your code. The next command I'm going to execute is called terraform plan. And this is really critical command. What exactly this terraform plan command is going to do is it's going to show you what are the changes that Terraform is going to make. Okay, it's not going to execute your code. It's just a kind of a sanity check. Okay, so if you guys are aware of like git diff command, this is similar to that. Like it is showing you that it is going to create a resource using this AMI. Okay, let's not worry about all these options. You define this key pair. So plus means create. So there are three values which you need to pay special attention. So first means plus means it's going to create a resource. Minus means it's going to delete a resource. Please pay special attention when you are seeing minus in your Terraform plan. That means it is deleting some particular resource. And this tilde means it's going to modify this resource. We are going to see it after this code, what exactly the modify means. Okay, so it's just telling you that it is creating something where it is creating an EC2 instance, it's creating a key pair, and it is creating a security group for you. It's just a sanity check. It does not actually created any instance for us so far. And you will see here that the plan 3 to add, 0 to change, and 0 to destroy. Once again, please pay special emphasis to this line, that it will not trying to change any of your resource unless it is intended by you, or it is not trying to destroy any resource. Okay, and the last command to apply this changes, actually applying this changes is called Terraform apply. And if you look at the output, it will even telling you that Terraform apply to subsequent run. So this command is actually going to apply the changes to the Terraform environment. But this command also, this Terraform apply, is a combination of Terraform plan. So the first few blocks, if you will see, it is showing you that it is actually going to do this to your environment. Do you really want to do that? You need to type yes to actually accept those changes. So here it is saying only yes will accept to approve it. So now if you can see, Terraform is actually creating a resources for us. Okay. And if you go to the AWS console, EC2 dashboard, so far nothing is running. And you can see that this is something which we have created just now, right? It's in the pending state. And you will see this is the name of this. We have assigned a tag of my first EC2 instance. And this is my first EC2 instance. So congrats, Guy. You have created your first EC2 instance using Terraform. So just to revise everything, we have used Terraform format to format our code, right? We have used Terraform init to download any of the plugins depending upon your provider. We have used Terraform plan to see our to see what exactly we are trying to implement. And then finally, when we're satisfied with the plan, we run Terraform apply to execute those changes. Okay. And in most of the cases, you don't need to execute these first two commands. You just need to rely on these commands, Terraform plan, to see what exactly you are doing, and then Terraform apply. That's it. Okay. We only have 2 minutes. This session might extend it for 5 more minutes because I need to cover a few more things. But in between, if you guys have any question, please let me know. Okay. So now let's try to modify this code a little bit. So for example, you realize, okay, the tag which you have assigned to your instance is wrong. It should be something like my first web server dev. Okay. Now go back here, and this time, like I told you, you don't need to execute Terraform init to download that code, to download those plugins. It is already downloaded. And if you look at here, there's a directory called a hidden directory called Terraform. And if you go here, you will see something called plugins. And here you will see that Terraform AWS plugin, which is being downloaded here. Okay. Now I have changed the tag value from whatever be the earlier value, which was my first EC2 instance, to something called my first web server dev. Now, if I again going to execute this command, Terraform plan, you will see something called refreshing Terraform state in memory prior to plan. And now if you scroll up, you will see that update in place, that the modification is in place. And if you scroll down, you will see that what Terraform is trying to do is trying to change the value of my first EC2 instance to my first web server dev. Okay. Now the question is how Terraform knows that we only made the change to this tag value, not to the entire code. Okay. And the way Terraform tracks all these changes is something called a TF state file. This file. So this is a JSON out formatted file where whatever we have created so far for this instance, Terraform is going to keep track of that. Okay. And the moment you're going to make any changes to it, Terraform is again going to make the API call to the AWS environment. Okay. So this is not a network operation. This is a local operation where Terraform is going to verify this file, and it will see that, oh, there is some changes. Let's make that changes and push it to the AWS. Okay. And I'm not going to discuss much in depth, but in most of the scenario, we stored this file in S3 bucket. So for example, if I'm working in some team with a team, I used to store this file in a S3 bucket. And for backend, in my case, I was using DynamoDB to create a log. So this I'm going to talk more about in the advanced Terraform section. But for the timing, you guys can understand that for the timing, this is stored inside my home from the directory from where I'm executing the code. And the way Terraform is going to track all the changes is with the help of TF state file. So now let's say I'm satisfied with my changes. I just need to run Terraform apply. Once again, it is going to show me the output, and I need to type a value called yes to accept that changes. So if you can see, Terraform will perform the action described above. Enter yes will accept to approve. Okay, so now it's modifying that resource. And if you go back here, so this is still showing my first EC2 instance. And now it's showing my first web server dev. Okay. And one last command. So let's say I was doing POC and I'm satisfied with my changes. But if your instance is up and running here in AWS, AWS is incur some cost to you, right? So let's say you want to destroy this resource. So the command for that is called Terraform destroy. So now if you scroll up, you will see something called minus destroy. So that's what I told you guys earlier. There are three things which you need to keep an eye. One is, where is that? Where is that? Plus is to create, minus is for delete, and this tilde sign is for modify or update. And here you will see that Terraform is smart enough that is not actually destroying your resource. It will ask you like whether you actually want to destroy these resources. So 0 to add, 0 to change, 3 to destroy. The three resources you have created. Like I told you guys, for Terraform, it's three different resources. One is instance, one is key pair, and one is security group. So now you need to type yes. Okay. It started destroying that EC2 instance as well as key pair as well as security group. So if you go here, it is shutting down that instance. Okay. So yeah, guys, sorry about that. It's already 4 minutes over.